Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Know Everything. So in this video, we're gonna see about the experience that I had uh, during my SSB. So this video would be divided into two parts, part one and part two. So in part one, we're gonna see my experience, my tips and tricks that I used to get screened in my first attempt itself. And in the second part, you can see or you can hear, and it totally depends on how I got the response for this video. So if you guys are interested, please let me know in the comment section after the video that whether my tips and tricks helped and you feel like you want to hear about day two, three, four, and five, and what was the result. So, yeah, this is not a clickbait that I have mentioned in the thumbnail that this is how you're gonna get in screened in every time. So, yeah, I'm gonna share all those things that I have learned. And before starting off, let me give a brief about me because I don't want you to hear from some random guy who just attempted his SSB and he got screened in. And yeah, I got screened in my first attempt. But do I have a proper background to give the suggestions and advice to you people? So I'll tell you. And I'm giving this before the 2 minutes so you can leave the video and you can study or from other people. So my background is I belong from a defense background. My father is in military engineering services, and my brother is in Navy, Indian Navy, as serving as lieutenant commander. So he also cracked twice. He gave 3 to 4 SSBs, that's it. And he cracked in twice and he got into the academy, and that's all. So I got a plenty of experience. I have heard from many people who have cleared their first round, that is, they got screened in, and they shared the tips and tricks, and that helped me a lot. So I'm gonna jot down the steps that I had took from them, and I'm gonna give it to you guys for free. So if you like the video, do like it, share it, and if you don't want to share it, it's fine. But do subscribe to my channel because that will really motivate me to make a lot of videos for you guys for free. So let's get started. So the day one was I'm gonna share my experience, and in between, I'm gonna give you the tips and tricks what I did, and that's gonna help. And at the end of the video, I'm gonna repeat all the points that helped me. So yeah, so day one was uh, something which was I cannot forget, and nobody will because that experience that you're gonna get is something extraordinary. You're gonna get up at 4. I got up at 3:30 because I could not sleep. 3:30, and then I revised everything. So everything that means the aptitude that I can find the videos on YouTube or any resources available online, the PPDT, how to give the narrations and all that I'm gonna cover in this video, how to give the narrations and what you need to do. But for aptitude, you definitely need to practice. Uh, yeah, any topic or any video that you want me to make a video separately, just let me know in the comment section. So I reached the Bhopal SSP Center. Uh, the clock-in time that you need to reach was 5, and I was there by 4:45 or somewhere around that. I didn't want it to be late, so I reached there and I saw a lot of people waiting before me. So they reached before 4:30. They were already standing in the line. So that level of dedication you see there, and that is pretty impressive. And yeah, that's why it's also called as the toughest interview, not just because the interview process is tough, because you're gonna see the candidates who are so determined that they're gonna give their 110% to get into uh, the forces. So it's a so challenging process. So yeah, you'll learn a lot. So I was talking to people about how many attempts they have given, and it was going good, and they knew that it was my first attempt. There's a myth that if you are a fresher, then it's gonna be lenient on you and all that. I'm gonna say it's not completely false, but I believe that it's not 100% true also because they expect, and you are not from NDA background. For the NDA people, it is true because you just completed your schooling and it's fine. But for the people who are attempting it from BTech or some other CDS, they are not expected to be given a second chance, even though they are from freshers, but the bar is still high. So, just a brief that which force I applied for. It was in Indian Navy, and which entry was it? It was SSC. Does that mean that for general is it different? SSB is quite similar for each force and each entry. The number of people appearing would be little more in some entries, and some it would be less in few. So I am gonna split facts that SSC IT didn't have that much number comparatively, but it had a lot of people. So then we were took into a bus where you have to keep your luggage in the back of the seat and you have to sit, uh, and then they'll take you to the actual SSB center because you are just standing at the gate of the cantonment at that point of time. So then you got down. When I got down and I saw the instructor, the other batch who were already there, their instructor was scolding them because they were late. So that was the a point where I realized this is going to be tough because he was not shouting normally, he was very loud. So, bit scared, but yeah, it was fine. So, kept my luggage in the room, and they'll give you a storeroom kind of room where you can keep your luggage and you have to pull your files and get back to the kind of assembly point where you need to get your all the files, all the documentation. Do let me know if you have any doubts what documentation needs to be taken care. But yeah, do remember this is a tip that whatever documentations is mentioned, don't take it only once. Like take a copy of Aadhaar card. You have only one copy. Don't do that because there are times where they need multiple copies or something bad happens. So always have three copies of each and everything. So, and when I say each and everything, everything. So I had everything, and whatever they mentioned do get it, no matter what it is, no matter how small it is. If you feel like something is missing, it cannot be done like when you reach there and you ask that, is it possible if I don't have this or that? They won't let you. So, and eventually, if they let you in, also, they remember that you don't have certain documentations. So that would be a negative. So don't do that. Have each and every document properly. And if there are some problems in your names or anything, to have a affidavit. So that's a tip. Uh, Again, then we were given the chest number. Like before that, giving the chest number, they separated us into freshers um, who got screened in, who got screened out basically. So they also were in freshers category itself. So there is a thing like freshers are always separated, but if the people are uh, the number of candidates who have got screened out are less, they get merged into freshers. So screened out were also there in our line, and then there were people who got screened in but got conferenced out. So basically, they're called conferenced out and recommended. So recommended were separate, but they got merged into the conference out people. Conference out is a very big thing uh, because you get into it and you were almost there to get recommended, but you were not. Recommended people, why do they give the interview and all that? It's gonna make the video a little lengthy, so I'm not gonna dive into that. But if you need any suggestions, any comments, do let me know. Um, So what happened was we were given the test number by then, and they were having some verifications. They were doing some verifications like name and all are correct and all. So it was good. And then you'll be given the test number, then you'll be taken to a hall where you'll be writing the aptitude. Um, so there would be two papers, so one and two, and there would be verbal, non-verbal. It would be not so tough, no negative marking. So it's not that tough. It's all about the time constraint that you have, and you have to answer 50 questions each paper. So it's gonna be that, but not that tough, in my opinion. But uh, tip again, uh, try to get as many correct answers, correct um like answers in this paper, because that's gonna help if your PPDT is gonna go bad, because that's not certain. But this is like a pattern that you need to follow. There are certain patterns, logical reasonings, and that you can cover. And obviously, those are not so tough, so you can definitely have a good marks in that. After that, I started writing the paper, and the instructor gave the instructions very clearly that you will be given uh, so and so time, and just before 30 seconds, I'll whistle, and after that, you will know that there's only 30 seconds left. So we started writing the paper. The first one, I was very quick because I knew there is no time. I have to complete 15 questions. So a 5-0. So after so and so time, it was like when he whistled, the instructor whistled, I almost completed the paper. There were only 5 to 6 which were left. So I knew there are 30 seconds and I have only 5 questions. So it's good amount of time. So I was able to complete the paper before time. Then he whistled again, the paper was taken, the second paper was given, started again. No instructions given at this point of time. So with the same instructions, I thought I started the paper. And this time I was waiting for the whistle because my brain was trained that when the whistle happens, there are like 30 seconds left. But he did not whistle and he said, "Time's up." So that time I knew why it is called the toughest interview in the world. The rules changed, and you won't be told everything. It's how your brain reacts to it. So paper was taken. I left only 2 or 3, but by then. But I was pretty confident that whatever I wrote was good. So by this point, you will be thinking my experience is going so good. What is there to learn from here? I'll tell you now, because this is the point which is going to be the turning point. PPDT came. So when PPDT came, we were sitting at the same position where because they will let you sit in a certain seat. They won't you won't be let you won't be sitting in some random place. So I sat third row, so it was not so far. It was front. So and there's a huge white screen in front of you. They'll give you the instructions like what you need to do, PPDT, how to write it. Let me know if you know that kind of suggestion. I'll let you know how to write the PPDT, and because, but you will know that I'm not the right guide for that because I'll tell you my experience and then you can definitely know. Um, so they'll give you the instruction what you need to do, the main character, center character, the male, female, age, circle, action of the story, what you need to write, and everything. Instructions are good enough. So I was ready because I was prepared with a story that I'm gonna tell, uh, and I'm gonna write. No matter what the story, no matter what the picture would be given, because that's how I saw in the YouTube videos that you have to have a fundamental story that you can turn it up into another story. Like let's suppose there's a character called Aman, and you prepare that he's from an engineering background, studied from VIT. Did his mechanical engineering and he wanted to do something. And that's how you turn the story around what the picture is. You have the first 4 lines ready. But when the picture was shown to me, it was completely blew my mind. The reason was it was black. You can see some hands, no center character, no main character there. You cannot see people. You can see little bit of hands. And for a second, I didn't know what the picture is. I was not able to understand whether the picture makes sense. So I rubbed my eyes twice to see what is there. And then I figured out that the picture was of a top view of a vehicle, and you can see certain hands. That's it. And the picture was taken off the screen. Now you need to write. And I was completely blank. There was no character. I was ready with my Aman story. There was no Aman here. What do we need to do? But still, I came so far. I'm not going to give up. So never give up. Uh, that you know for sure. So what I did was um, I knew one thing that these type of situations always remember tip again that if it is tough for you, if you are prepared and if it is tough for you, that definitely means it is tough for the others who are sitting. So it is the same ground for everyone. They can have any prepared story, but they are still gonna be blank with that kind of picture. So what was happening was I started writing some action that what is gonna happen in the story, and started writing something, and I was completely getting blank in middle, but I was writing still. And by the end of the timer, you will be given 4 minutes to write the whole thing up. So when the 4 minutes were up, they said time's up, and can you guess how many lines I wrote? I wrote only 5 lines with the action, with a character, the picture diagram. I only write. I only wrote 5 lines. Not a good start at all. And I lost my hopes. I know I have said that never give up, but when you write 5 lines and you saw a lot of ton of YouTube videos which says that you at least need to fill the page, you need to write 10 lines minimum. I just wrote five, and that are also not sensible because I was mentioning some random things in the story because I thought like I'm gonna end it in a good note, but it was not there. So I lost all my hopes. I gave the paper. I gave up. And I was just thinking, what was the next train? What will be the next train I'm gonna catch? Go back. But then I realized one thing. There is only one last thing left, which is the narration. So I know I haven't wrote the story, but why not give my 110 in the narration? I don't know if I'm gonna succeed, but let's just gonna make the life tougher for the other people who are gonna get select. So bad thinking, maybe, but I just wanted to give my 110 there. So I thought the story that I was going to write, but I could not write, so I started narrating it to myself. When people were discussing about the story which they wrote to each other, I was narrating my story to myself 110 times. And I'm not kidding with the number. Maybe not exact, but I have narrated it so many times because you'll be given a time period for you have to go out of the hall and take into the narration room. There is a separate room where you'll be having a group discussion and narration. So they'll divide you into the groups, the chess number wise. So because we were freshers, so we were the last batch, and there were like a lot of people left, and they could not be grouped. So we were a group of 19. In general, it is of 10, 8 to 10 would be the ideal number, but they were not able to get into a proper group or something like that happened, and they came into our group, and we were a group of 19. So it is a huge group, not favoring at all. Things were going in to a wrong way, but I knew that I have to put that thing in away and I have to just think what I'm gonna narrate. So I was narrating my story, Good Morning Gentlemen, the central character, the main character of the story. the action of my story, and all that stuff. I'm narrating it to myself, and I'm completing it whole story. I'm not leaving it at 5 lines. I'm gonna complete the story. I was narrating it in my mind so many times, looking down. People were thinking I'm going crazy because I'm talking to myself. But maybe true. But I was talking to myself. I'm narrating my whole story to myself. So when I went in there, people started. We were sitting in a sea kind of stuff, and I was in somewhere here at the end. So people started narrating their story. I was listening to it. I was still narrating my story in my mind, and by the time the next guy sitting next to me started narrating, I was taking deep breath because I was about to speak. And when I'm gonna speak whatever I have narrated so many times. I was so confident at that time that when he ended, I started. And I could see that the instructors, the people who were judging us, um, they were the officers who were sitting. They were cutting because we were the last batch, so they were also frustrated with so many stories to listen, so many discussions they heard before us. So they were just interrupting in between. They're saying next before the story gets completed, and that was the whole flow which was happening for so many people. So I thought that's gonna happen to me as well. So I started off, and in a single breath, I'm speaking the whole story because I knew that I don't want to lose the attention of the other people. I started speaking, and I was making a proper eye contact with everyone. At once, I had eye contact with the instructors itself, so that's a bad thing. That's a no-no. Don't do that. And I had eye contact with each and every individual sitting there. And I finished my story. The good part, if you heard this, was I completed my whole story and I was not interrupted by the instructor that next or something. And I finished with a thank you. And that was great. Um, yeah, and it went to the next person, and I was ready for the group discussion to start. I was prepared that I have to enter in the beginning because because it's even though we are freshers or we are screened out people who are sitting here, but the fish market is for everyone. And yeah, it is literally the fish market. That's not a myth. So I wanted to enter first, have the courage to enter first, and then I can show that I am the person who initiates and all that. So the moment the other last guy was speaking his story, I was not listening to that. I was listening to when he was gonna say thank you. And the moment he said that, I jumped in. But there's a twist. There are five people who jumped in with me with a much louder voice. So that doesn't make sense to shout. So I kept quiet. So eventually, I had to step in, and there was a gap, minute gap. This is a tip that whenever somebody is speaking, he cannot speak for a long period of time without taking a little bit of gap. And that gap is where you need to enter if he's not making sense. So that gap came in. I entered. I utilized that particular gap, and when got into the discussion, there were people who were speaking, obviously. There would be people who would be speaking with you. So don't get distracted with it. Speak your point. And when I was speaking, I was so confident that what I was speaking, and I was taking the chess numbers, like what they said, and what I was going to say, and what we can do to merge the story and come with a good conclusion. So I could hear a pin drop silence. What does that mean? The people, 19 people in that room were listening to me. So that's unusual. They say it's a fish market because of a reason. When that fish market is silent and they're listening to you, and I was not speaking for 10 seconds, I was speaking for 10, 30 to 45 seconds, and there was a pin drop silence. And that's when I knew that I cracked the first round because there was a pin drop silence, and I gave them the chance to speak. When I ended, I said, okay, so that's my point. And I stopped. And then people got entered, and there was another fish market. I entered again, gave some chest numbers, gave some good points. They were listening again. And then that's it. That's more than it. Just gave few more lines here and there. And that was it. I felt like I did good. And I did good. Then we got out. And yeah, I did not finish the story. There is a last guy who finishes the story and narrates. I did not do that. So just for a heads up, I did not do that. So after that, what happened was we were out, we were all discussing. People were coming to me and they were saying you killed it, you were exceptionally good and all that. It felt good, but I also knew that I only wrote 5 lines in that sheet. So whatever I told it, but you also need to write it. So there was a myth that you need to write 10 lines. I knew that there's something good with my narration. So let's see what happens. One more thing that you need to remember that you have to believe that you're gonna get in. If you have negative thoughts, keep it aside. Happens. It happens that that day is not yours. But whatever left, just give your 110%. So I did that. And then the officer came and he told that we're gonna take the chest numbers, who got selected, who got screened in, right word. They need to be on the right side of the line, and rest everyone need to be seated because we were seated. So they need to stand up, tell their name loudly, full name, and with their date of birth. As soon as the numbers started, the chest numbers started with 7, uh, 3, 7, 14. That's how increasing order it was going in. So, and I was like, till the time it reached 50, I was feeling it that I'm gonna get selected. So I started talking to myself. Nikhil Kumar, my date of birth. Nikhil Kumar, date of birth. Nikhil Kumar, date of birth. So that process was going on. So I manifested it that I'm gonna get selected. I'm gonna tell my name so confidently that the people around me should think that they selected the right one. So I should not hesitate. I should not stutter. That I'm not able to speak. So yeah, that happened. And they took my chest number. No suspense. My chest number was called. I got up, rolled my name, rolled my date of birth, and with a good smile on my face, I stepped right, gave the chest number, the white one, away, took the screened in once, wore it, and that was it. I got screened in my first attempt. Yeah, the whole tips and tricks are in the video that you heard. So one last point I'm going to make is be confident enough, and you need to remember that SSB is toughest interview because you cannot pretend to be someone else. You definitely need to be the person who you are. I am. I was not trying to pretend at that point of time that I am someone else. I have to be like an officer. I should show LQs, officer-like qualities. I have to stand up. It was coming in like from inside. I was feeling that I should speak up. I should be the one who should narrate. I should be the one who should uh, have a good discussion, have the sensible points to be put in, give chance to others. That was coming in from inside. So you don't have to pretend. You please don't pretend to be someone else. Be yourself, and that should be it. Hope you like this video. And if you like this video, please do like, because that helps me a lot to make these kind of video. There's a part two that depends on how good response I get. If I get 50, 60 likes on this video, which is very less because I know there's a lot of people who watch this video. So at least that will motivate me to make a part two. And if you want my brother to come in and a small podcast with him where any questions that you have that I can ask to him, that would be possible. But you need to tell me that what you need so I can make videos on that. And do leave your comments in the comment section, whatever questions you have, whatever suggestions, whatever experience you had you want to share with the people, do let me know. And yeah, and if you are interested for part two also, let me know by liking the video, by commenting that you need a part two. And I'm gonna make the part two for day 2, 3, and 4, 5. So what happened with that process, what needs to be done. This is a pretty long video, but this should be the one last video that you should watch before going to the SSB. Jai Hind and all the very best, and I want to hear success stories from you guys. Thank you.